everyone. I am so excited. We are with Jennifer Crumpton, the CEO of Kula for Karma, a mindfulness-based mental health care providing nonprofit in the entire nation. Right now, we are in a pivotal moment in which we are bringing to light stories that matter, stories that resonate, stories that touch lives. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
My goodness, Jenny. So I'm just wondering, there are so many causes, screaming for our attention every single day, and part of the reason why we're trying to tell your story, for me, it's because I understand the importance. But for the people who don't understand the impact that mental health care has on the quality of our lives and well-being, could you explain for us why this matters, why mental health care, making it a human right, matters so much and should matter to everyone?
Well, I think we saw during the pandemic something that was sort of lurking in the dark, which is the fact that good, consistent mental health care is notoriously difficult to access. It's difficult to find. It's difficult to find culturally appropriate mental health care. There are a lot of barriers to mental health care in America's system. So this provides a situation where people are just sort of groping in the dark around how to take care of themselves, how to understand what's happening when they struggle with mental health, and how to know what's the right method for them to be able to improve their mental health. So at Kula for Karma, we believe that every human being, no matter the status of their insurance, their employment, and wherever they may find themselves and in whatever situation they may find themselves, every human being deserves the time, the space, the tools to be able to understand and manage and improve their own mental health. Trauma is actually shown to be what precipitates most mental health conditions. So whether that's anxiety or depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, which are some of the most common in America, these are typically precipitated by trauma. And it's really enlightening to be able to understand that fact. So one of the things that's so important to your question is to be able to understand what's happening to us and why. Because when we're able to shed a little bit of light on why we're feeling the things we're feeling, why we're experiencing mental health conditions, just to have that understanding opens up a whole new world where we feel brave enough to step into healing and moving forward. So when we think about our quality of life and our impact on the world and being able to fulfill our purpose as human beings on this earth, our mental health is critical.
Wow. Oh my goodness. It impacts me personally as a schizophrenic, to understand that number one, we're not alone.
Yeah.
That's one of the hardest things about trauma is the isolation that happens,
Mm.
but also that we have a community. You've built a community. And it's why we want to tell those stories of the people in your community, the ones who live the struggle, who know it better than anybody else. But could you please help us understand why now? How does sharing our story, how will that empower us to be able to do the good work?
Right. Well, I think that we're sort of in unprecedented times. This is a very interesting moment in history for all of us who have decided to embody on this planet Earth right now. We see so many disparities. I think that with human evolution come massive gaps in where and how our evolution is occurring. And if we don't tend to those, whether that's gaps in wealth, gaps in resources, gaps in knowledge, gaps in technology. If we don't attend to those, then people get left behind. I think it's our responsibility to keep up with each other and to care for each other. I think that's the primary reason we're here, to learn from each other in that way. So I think why now, would really be because this is such a pivotal moment in history where we're seeing these gaps widen to unprecedented levels. And I really believe that mental health is the great equalizer in many ways, because when you don't have the resources, the opportunities, the technologies, the wealth, our mental health suffers, especially when that is due to oppression of certain groups, and very intentional, specific ways of withholding resources from certain people. And I believe our whole society suffers for that. So I think it's important to tell our stories because it really illuminates those gaps. It creates a situation where people cannot ignore what is happening to our fellow human beings. And I'm so glad you're doing this because I really do believe this is a moment with everything that's happening geopolitically and socially. We're at a tipping point where people are going to start to rise up and say, this is unacceptable. And so to have something like what you're doing right now, where people are able and given a venue to tell their stories, is really going to make a huge difference.
I am honored to serve on the advisory board of Kula for Karma. Ever since I got involved with doing this work, my own mental health, if I can be vulnerable for a moment, my own mental health has been enriched. Not only that, but I feel ennobled to be able to join so many heroes like you and the people at Kula. I feel as though you're right. This is a moment in history that we're seizing now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Jonathan. I have so much respect and love for you, so thank you.
Thank you.